this one is, it's just so. Welcome to University of Arizona Wildcats hockey. I'm Timothy Gass, and I'll be bringing you tonight's game between the Arizona Wildcats and the Milwaukee School of Engineers, along with Jackson Peters. Jackson, this was a very pesky team last night in the 4-3 win by Arizona. We weren't quite sure what to expect, but this was a highly skilled hockey team from the Raiders.
Personally, I was very surprised by how well they laterally moved the puck. They got the Wildcats moving all over. And to combat that tonight, the Wildcats are really going to have to put on a great forecheck and really make sure they don't have time to get that nice breakout that they have going. And they really have to get that body on quick, because as soon as you let some of those players on the Rowdy Raiders team have the puck, they dipsy-doodle around everybody. So they got to get on that fast.
Well, and this is what Coach Berman was saying. You have to cut the head off of the monster. And what he meant by that is you got to get a forecheck on and keep the Raiders from getting those quick breakouts, those big, long breakout passes that the Raiders are so good at. A very offensively skilled team, but they only brought 15 skaters. And I think this was probably the difference in last night's game between a win and a loss for them because they didn't have that fourth line. They didn't run out of steam in the third period. They played very well, but you get the idea if they had 4 or 5 more skaters of the same quality as the rest of the roster, that they could have come away with the victory last night.
Yeah, sometimes it's harder to see how tired some of these guys are, and it's easy to know if you're a fan of hockey. Bringing 15 skaters on the road, that's tough to do. You only have 3 lines of forwards and 3 lines of defensemen, so it may not show, but you got to expect that these guys are tired in the last few minutes of that game, and I would expect the same tonight. They got a night's rest, but they still only have 15 guys. No new skaters tonight. It's the same bench. So I'm interested to see if they can hold out through another 60 minutes.
Well, the Cats did hold on for that 4-3 victory last night. And very importantly, Jackson, that was the 20th win of the year for Arizona. They've hit the 20-win plateau. Very important for Arizona. And this is the last tune-up for the Wildcats as they get ready to go on the perhaps the most difficult and most important road trip of the season for Arizona. Next Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, they play at Oklahoma and then Central Oklahoma. There's no more time really to get better, Jackson. Arizona has to play their A game here tonight.
Yeah, they have no time. They have to kind of use this as their last, I guess, not as competitive game, because they know once they go to Oklahoma next week, that's a huge game. It's Oklahoma, Colorado, and the University of Arizona in those top 3 spots of the WCHL. So it's going to be a real battle next week in Oklahoma. So they have to prepare for that. This is the last game where they're not going to face that top-tier ranked a team like they're going to face next weekend. So they have to be ready.
Well, and as we said, we can't just put this game in the win column automatically either. Based on last night's game, how well the Milwaukee School of Engineers played, this could be another very competitive game, and Arizona just has to play better. Also tonight, it's Pucks for Paws Night. This is a fundraiser for the Humane Society of Southern Arizona. You can bring your dog to the game, get a ticket for $5. All proceeds goes for the Humane Society of Southern Arizona. So we hope to show you a lot of dogs in the audience as we continue on in this game. A little bit of fun for University of Arizona Wildcat hockey. We're waiting for the teams to take the ice. The coaches are just now appearing. Then we'll have our player introductions, the national anthem, and then we'll drop the puck. It's number 14 Arizona and the Milwaukee School of Engineers, Rowdy Raiders, here on University of Arizona Wildcat hockey.
Purchase your Nova Home Loans Chuck-a-Pucks, $1 each or 6 for $5. Toss your pucks on the ice for a chance to a gift card to Mama's Hawaiian Barbecue and 2 tickets to a Wildcat hockey game of your choice. Fans, don't forget the official Arizona Facebook page for live video before, during, and after tonight's game. You can buy your 50-50 raffle tickets from the Wildcat Booster Club on the upper concourse near the entrance. And tonight, a little something special. Wildcat fans, head up to the Booster Club table, again near the entrance in the upper concourse, and purchase a game-worn Wildcat jersey. The jerseys range from $50 to $150, and all proceeds go directly toward the University of Arizona hockey program and their trip to the national tournament. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hockey fans all. Welcome to the Tucson Convention Center Arena, the home of your University of Arizona Wildcats. And to our four-legged friends, welcome to Puck and Paws Night. Tonight, your Wildcats take on the Raiders of the Milwaukee School of Engineering in the second of a two-game set. Here is tonight's lineup for the visiting Raiders. Starting at right wing, Anthony Castelletto, 22. Starting at center, number 11, Brady Thiering. Starting at left wing, number 23, Carson Duggar. Starting at right defense, number 8, Scott Pfaff. Starting at left defense, Jacob Killian. And starting in goal for the Raiders, Mike Cowell. And here come your Wildcats. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here is the starting lineup for your Arizona Wildcats. At right wing, number 16, Tyler Griffith. Starting at center, number 27, Max Meyer. At left wing, number 22, Robert Smythe. At right defense, number 20, Manny Rowe. At left defense, number 24, Killian Olenek. And starting in goal for the Wildcats, number 30, Anthony Churro. The head coach of the Wildcats is Chad Berman. The assistant coaches are Eddie Davila, Shane Fossell, and John Hogan. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise. Gentlemen, remove your hats and face the south goal for the playing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rugged the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And we're ready for hockey at the Tucson Arena on a Saturday night between the University of
Your
Arizona
referee for
Wildcats
tonight's game is Corey Sosolski.
and the Milwaukee School of Engineering Rowdy Raiders.
Jeff Smith.
I'm Timothy Gasson. I'm joined now by Jackson Peters. And Jackson, we talked about it before, and this was a very pesky Raiders team last night. Let's see what they got left in the tank here in the second game of a two-game series, because, as we will continue to mention, the Raiders only have 15 skaters with them tonight. That's about a full line less than a usual hockey team, but boy, it sure didn't affect the quality of game they played last night.
No, and I'm not quite sure it'll affect it tonight, at least in the beginning of this game. I think regardless of their energy tonight, they're still going to be pesky. They're still going to be giving it their all. We talked about it a little bit last night. This is a huge trip for this team. To come to Arizona and play in the TCC, it's a huge deal. So they're going to want to bring it even though they don't have a lot of guys here tonight.
Please welcome to the ice for the ceremonial puck drop, ATF Explosives Detection K9 Kira and ATF Special Agent Thomas Gellert. Kira is a 6-year-old Labrador Retriever that has been with the ATF since graduating in Canada in 2014. Kira has been trained to find guns, bullets, bombs, and thousands of different explosive compositions. Thank you to Thomas Gellert and Kira for your continued service to our community.
It's Pucks for Paws night tonight, so we're going to see a lot of dogs here tonight in the stands. Can't wait to highlight some of those dogs. And there were what are water bowls for the dogs around the arena, so when they get thirsty. And it's going to be a busy night, I'm going to guess, Jackson, for the custodial crew here at the TCC as well.
Yeah, I'm sure that won't be a fun job to have tonight.
And the appropriate "Who Let the Dogs Out" song.
I'll tell you what, Tim. I've seen a lot of puck drops in my day, and I'll tell you what, I love the dog ones. It's always a little more exciting.
The dogs always win. Well, we're ready for hockey, and we've just dropped the puck between the Milwaukee School of Engineering and the University of Arizona. Last home game for Arizona until the final weekend. Oh, the puck comes in and hits the pad of Anthony Shuro, who gets the start here tonight. Shuro has played well as a freshman here at the University of Arizona and brings up a real quandary for Coach Berman as the puck makes his way to him, and then he freezes it. This is a real quandary as we get closer and closer to the national tournament. Jackson, which goaltender do you ride in the national tournament? Of course, Austin Wilson, a senior, who's been and won a game in the national tournament previously. But as any hockey team knows, you earn your position not just based on how old you are or if you're a senior or a freshman. And the puck comes right in, and Shuro was not able to collect that, so it's free and goes off to the near side corner. Very sloppy in front of their goaltender there, and fortunate to remain scoreless. As the Cats throw it into the Milwaukee School of Engineering zone, but they're offside. I would think that this Oklahoma weekend coming up against two top 10 ranked teams, or two ranked teams next weekend, would tell us a lot about who's winning that goaltender battle.
Yeah, I think it's going to have a lot to do with that game, and not only the stats for each goaltender that come out of that game, or maybe Coach Berman has an idea of one goalie that he's already kind of favoring. I think a lot of this next weekend against Central Oklahoma is going to show, you know, who can the guys, the skaters of this team really get behind, because I think that has a lot to do with going far in a big tournament like that.
Well, no, you're absolutely right. You can tell when certain teams like playing in front of one guy more than another. Thursday night they'll play Oklahoma. That's number 21 ranked Oklahoma, as the Raiders come right back in, and the puck's deflected out of bounds, so we'll have a stoppage of play and a face-off in the Arizona zone. On Thursday night they'll play number 21 Oklahoma, and then Friday and Saturday, here's the biggest games of the road season for Arizona. They'll play at number 6 Central Oklahoma Friday and Saturday night. And they've only played Central Oklahoma once. That was a 3-0 loss here at the TCC. And they were competitive, Jackson, but they just didn't have enough of everything like Central Oklahoma. Well, that was early in the season. This is going to be, I think, a much more accurate test of where Arizona is this next week. But first, they've got to get through this rowdy Raiders squad. And so far, just in the first 2 minutes of the game, it's been all Milwaukee School of Engineering.
Very reminiscent to last night. This is exactly how last night's game started. MSOE dominated the first period.
No, you're absolutely right. They outshot Arizona 16-8 in the first period last night. And instead of being tired after that game last night, they really look energized and are bringing it right at the Cats once again.
And not only that, Tim, they look explosive. They're getting on that rush even a little bit quicker than they were at the beginning of last night's game.
You know, Jackson, how much of this do you think is that youth on the Arizona squad? Now, that puck hit a Raider player going off the ice. That's got to be too many men on the ice. That's unfortunate, but there was a Raider player, and he was going to the ice, and he was about to jump over the boards. And as he did that, the puck hit him. That's playing the puck. Can't do that, so that's going to be a power play for Arizona. Those are the kind of unforced mistakes with only 15 skaters on the roster that the Raiders have to avoid.
Yeah, and that kind of call is almost unlucky at that point. That he's just trying to make the pass, and it bounces off of him. So there's not much he can do there. You got to take the penalty. They're all two.
Yeah, when we talk about
It's a bench minor served by Anthony Castelletto, which means you're a Wildcat.
Yeah, when you talk about puck luck, that's one of those unlucky plays that aren't intentional, but it is a 2-minute minor, so Arizona goes on the power play. We're scoreless, just underway between MSOE and the Arizona Wildcats. Arizona ranked number 14 this week. These two games will not count in the computer standings, however, because MSOE is an ACHA Division III team. The puck goes in and wide. Mike Cowell getting the start in goal. We believe there are two number 31s on the roster. We'll have to check that. As play continues on, and a dog is walking by the press box. It's Bucks for pause.
Well, regardless of which goaltender it is at the moment, it may be Jacob Killian, it might be Mike Cowell. We have two different rosters. But either way, Tim, he hasn't had to play very hard in the first 4 minutes of this game. They're working. The Wildcats are trying to get more shots on him, but I think the Wildcats need to make him work harder. Chris Nelson last night had to work a little bit harder, but it took to the second half of the game for the Wildcats to really start to put that pressure on him. At the beginning of the game, we said Chris Nelson was having a just fine game. They need to get him moving.
So now we have a penalty on the U of A, which takes away that man advantage. We'll skate 4-on-4 for 33 seconds, and then there'll be a power play for the Raiders. But Arizona comes in and gets a shot, and wow. Tyler Griffith is just rocked there. No call. Could have been called a high sticking. Could have been called a bunch of stuff, I think, but no call. Griffith's okay. We think he's going to the bench. Well, he's hurting a little bit. Let's hope that he's okay and can return to the ice. And it's 5 seconds on the 4:04, on the 4-on-4, and then the Raiders will have a power play.
And if you saw in that last play, that was the Rowdy Raiders number 11, Brady Tearing, and there's a big hit, who got past 3 of the Wildcat defenders. That's something the Wildcats need to take control of quickly in this game, is they can't let 1 or 2 guys sneak past the majority of their team.
Yeah, and the game has gotten physical here early. The Arizona bench up on their feet. Not appreciating some of this physical play. As there's 35 seconds to go in the power play.
And we've seen this Wildcat team get a little scrappy in a few games this year, especially against the Sun Devils. However, we've never seen it this early in a game, only 5.5 minutes in. So I'm wondering if this is something that'll settle down or if it's just going to continue to ramp up.
Only 10 seconds to go on the power play for the Rowdy Raiders. They come to center ice. Nice little move there by Patrick Dyer. Puck goes into the far side corner, goes back to Dyer. That's it for the penalty. We're at full strength, but MSOE keeps the puck in, goes through the slot. Arizona unable to get that puck as it's just pinballing through the slot, now out to the blue line and out of the zone. So no one does anything with their respective power plays. We're still scoreless in the first period. And the Rowdy Raiders look just as effective as they did last night.
Yeah, one thing I'm noticing they're doing really well in the Wildcat zone is they're a great cycling team. They can really get that puck moving to the same two or three guys that just keep cycling around in the corners, and that's how they're generating so many good cross-ice passes, is because they're sucking the Wildcats defense into the corner, which leaves an open man out front. As there's a shot that goes just outside for the Wildcats.
I gotta believe that the Raiders can't play that big of a physical game, because they'd have nothing in the tank with just 15 skaters in the third period if they did. But here in the first period, they're playing a good physical game, letting Arizona know that they're there. And Arizona so far hasn't thwarted their breakout.
Looks like that was a big hit for the Wildcats. Ben Fury just isn't able to get that breakaway. No ice cream call there.
So it is indeed Mike Cowell, number 31, in net for the Raiders. The Raiders have 2 number 31s on their roster, and they don't have the names on the back of their jerseys. But we've confirmed now it is Mike Cowell in goal. Chris Nelson got the nod last night and played very well. And you know, Jackson, if you're going to have a smaller lineup like this, you better have solid goaltending.
Yeah, we talked about a lot this season how a goalie can really bail a team out in a game. And especially so when you have such few guys, they're going to be tired. And, you know, he didn't play last night, so he's just as fresh as any other goalie would be on a back-to-back night, not starting the first game. So he definitely has a little bit of an advantage on the rest of his teammates, but he is going to have to work just as hard because they're going to be tired late in this game, and he's going to have to make up for it.
Play continues on now, 12-11 to go in the first period. We're still scoreless. As Cam Armstrong goes back to the puck, sends it up the near side boards. Griffith sends it out to center ice. Robert Smythe isn't able to get it there, but it comes back to Nick Zelmer, who throws it in to the Raiders zone.
This game is definitely getting very physical very quickly, Tim. It looks like a lot of these guys are really trying to finish every hit they're trying to make.
Oh, and that's a shot and a goal.
I believe that was number 15, Brian Rupp. But we'll have to wait for the call. Regardless, he found that pocket behind it, Anthony Shuro that was just left a little bit open above his right shoulder. But that's exactly what we're talking about. They can't leave the Rowdy Raiders team able to sneak in past the defenders and get any kind of good looks on Anthony Shuro.
Boy, Shuro was protecting the near side post, and Brian Rupp put that to the far side upper corner. That's a goal scorer's goal. Wow, was that beautifully, beautifully placed. And the Rowdy Raiders take a 1-0 lead now. Last night, boy, this is deja vu all over again, isn't it? Last night, the Rowdy Raiders took a 2-0 lead after one period of play. Arizona did come back to win that game 4-3, but that's a skill goal. You know, I didn't think that this was going to be a game that Arizona could learn things from. So here's the call.
First period, scored by number 15, Brian Rupp, assisted by 18, Gage Peterson, and 7, Patrick Dwyer. Raiders goal by Rupp from Christensen and Dwyer.
So to pick up on that thought, I wasn't sure what Arizona would get out of this weekend other than a couple victories, but this might be, other than Central Oklahoma, the best ACHA team I've seen play the University of Arizona here in Tucson at least. And I think Arizona could learn a bit as Manny Rowe picks up the puck and wheels in over the zone. He's best when he has some ice to move into, and he also has a big shot. Patrick Dyer is able to get the puck up into the blue line.
Manny Rowe is one of those players you definitely don't want to leave wide open up on your point.
Cats unable to really maintain any kind of zone time here as we're heading toward the 10-minute mark of the first period.
The Cats need to find a way to jump on the skill of this Rowdy Raiders team. They need to find a way to stop this attack before it starts. They're having a real trouble keeping possession in their zone, and if they can keep the possession in their zone, the Raiders won't have that easy time to get out of on the quick breaks that they're looking for. A lot of that happens on turnovers when they're entering the zone. So if the Wildcats can establish some kind of formation in the Rowdy Raiders zone, it stops that really quick breakout.
Well, the Cats do get an offensive zone face-off in the Rowdy Raiders zone to the left of Mike Cowell. And the puck is dropped. Boy, that was a good-looking sandwich that guy had walking past us here in the press box. That was right there. Oh no, those are like the mucho nachos.
That made me hungry. I can imagine. Don't get this too close to the dogs. Here on Pucks for Paws Night as play continues on, and Griffin Dine goes for it in the near side corner, takes a hit. But again, Arizona unable to set up zone time here in the first period, and they're down by a goal yet again.
Yeah, it's the zone time that's really hurting them here. The Milwaukee School of Engineering has spent most of this game with the puck.
Wow, they make cross ice passes, a really good passing hockey team.
And beyond that, not only is these good passes, they're tape to tape. They're very crisp passes that just seem to find who they're looking for perfectly.
Yeah, Arizona can learn a heck of a lot. And as a matter of fact, there's a number of MSOE players I would love to see on the Arizona roster. They could really do some damage here at ACHA Division I. Now, we should point out that the Milwaukee School of Engineering has an NCAA Division III team, and some of these players have played on that team, have used up their NCAA eligibility, and are continuing to play now in the ACHA. So these are accomplished veteran hockey players on this team. It's not a mystery, but you know why their play is so elevated. But to come on the road like this with such a short roster and to play so well still is surprising.
Yeah, one of those factors of being tired is you start to lose the crispness of passes. You start to make those sloppy passes, those bumbling passes, and this team's doing a great job even on the second night with 15 guys of making those really nice, beautiful passes, you know, just sliding them across the ice right to their target.
Yeah, there's a check that Keelan Ulnick finished right in front of the Raiders bench. They're not real happy about that. No more physical play picking up with Manny Rowe. Manny Rowe hitting anyone he can find. Manny Rowe taking on Anthony Casaletto. Play continues on. Nothing called there. Manny Rowe looked like he wanted an invitation 4 or 5 times there to the penalty box, but nothing called. Play continues on. I think this is a good idea from Arizona, Jackson, to play a more physical game.
Yeah, they need to find a way to get this team more tired more quickly, and the easiest way to do that is with an extremely physical style of play. So they need to get on this team, you know, put a lot of pressure on them, and finish every check they can make, because the U of A has that expendability of guys right now. They have 4 full lines that they can use more energy.
I just like that song. That's why I brought it. That's why I brought it up in the mix there. 7:27 to go in the first period. Arizona trailing the Rowdy Raiders by a score of 1-0. And you know the Arizona coaching staff has to be thinking, how big of a hole do the Wildcats want to dig for themselves to get themselves out of? What they learned from that is resiliency for such a young team. That's the good thing. But boy, against better teams, you can't keep trying to battle back from 1 and 2 and 3 goal deficits.
Yeah, they need to get on teams quicker. They leave it to the second half of the game to start really putting it on these teams when they need to get on top of these teams as soon as they can to have a better chance to, you know, not be having to hold this team off in the very last minutes of the game. So maybe they could coast into the third period with, you know, a 2 or 3 goal lead.
Raiders pick up the puck in their own zone and circle around in their own zone. Patrick Dyer, one of the best skaters on this team. Not a large player, but a highly skilled offensive player as he heads to the bench. He is a small hockey player as you see him stand next to the bench.
And a lot of smaller guys like that, they combat their lack in size with his speed. And number 7, Patrick Dwyer, is one of those players that showcases his speed. He can really slip around guys.
He looks like he's barely over 5 feet tall when he stands next to some of the larger guys, but a very deft skater. As the Raiders win another face-off, puck back to Nick Zelmer for Arizona. Heard some dogs barking. In the past, Jackson, when Arizona has scored a goal and the music comes on and there's lights and all that stuff, the dogs have started to howl and stuff. So I hope that we get a really exciting big goal here so that we can hear the dogs howl, get excited. Nick Zelmer gives up the puck in his own zone. This Raiders squad is always attacking.
Yeah, the most of the times when they're setting up this long zone time is after they've made a quick rush in and, you know, the goaltender gives up a rebound. A lot of this, their setup doesn't come from gaining the zone and waiting. They go right in for the attack.
Manny Rowe picks up the puck behind his own net. Puck comes back to him now as he comes to center ice.
Contrary to most games that we've talked about, is the Cats are having a hard time on the opposite blue line. They're having a hard time keeping possession past the blue line against this MSOE team. They need to find a better way to gain the zone. Unlike how MSOE is playing, they're not going for the attack like they usually do. They need to gain that zone and set up a nice play.
Well, here's a break 3-on-2 for Arizona. Can they get some speed over the line? Slowly developing with Ulnick, and the puck just kind of wanders in on the goaltender. That's a really quick whistle, as that goaltender did not have that puck at all. But it came in on Mike Cowell, and the whistle was blown, and so the play is dead.
Jerseys range from $50 to $150, and all proceeds go directly towards the University of Arizona hockey program and their trip to the national tournament.
So they really need to get this goaltender moving more. That's one thing that the Wildcats can do really well, is get goaltenders moving and then be able to get those second chances. But right now, they're not making this goaltender work too hard.
No, that is absolutely right, Jackson. They need to
There's a big hit.
have some puck movement, but you know they haven't had much movement in the attacking zone at all, let alone be able to get the goaltender moving.
Yeah, and that's you're exactly right, Tim. They need to build on it. They need to get that possession, get some zone time, and then really work on getting this team to move around.
Tyga Bauer picks up the puck, comes in over the zone. Oh, and gives up the puck. This could turn into a 2-on-1. But Nick Zelmer alertly picks it up, sends it into the zone. Boy, the Raiders are looking to break out at any opportunity. Arizona has to counter that with a good counter punch and move up the other way.
And the best way they can do that is expect that quick breakout. This team doesn't like to take it back behind the net and reset like some teams do. They like to get the puck and go.
3:45 to go in the first period. Arizona trailing the Raiders by a score of 1-0. Boy, we didn't call them pesky for nothing. And they're, you know, it's kind of bandwagon hockey. They are all going to bust into that offensive zone.
Yeah, you can see it. As soon as one of their guys gets the puck, the other four skaters get on their horse and start heading the other way.
Now, if Arizona can counter with its own breakout pass, and here's like an example. If they can get that stretch pass going, they could have some breaks in, but that's easier said than done. The Cats pick it up, go to the far side. There's a shot and a goal! Wow, I think that's Robert Smythe. This is exactly what we were talking about as he shoots. He scores, Jackson, moving the puck laterally side to side to get a better shot off.
Yeah, Robert Smythe has almost all the time in the world right there. That puck came from the complete other side of the ice, so he needed to just get a good grip on it and rip it just like he did. So if they can continue to make plays like that, they're going to put a lot more goals on the board tonight. Robert
Smythe on a goal-a-game rate now. He scored last night and scored tonight. He's only played in the second semester here for Arizona. This is his 5th game of the semester, and he has a goal per game. Talk about a new addition being so valuable for this Arizona squad. You know, we've talked about two of the big scorers for Arizona are out indefinitely, Chris Westland and Anthony Cusinelli. Cusinelli, when he was injured a couple games ago, was the leading goal scorer in the ACHA as the puck comes in on Anthony Shiro and he just freezes it. So Arizona without the top goal scorer in the ACHA and one of their other top scorers in Chris Westland, Robert Smythe comes in and talk about picking up the slack.
We talked about this last night. since those guys unfortunately are out right now, other guys need to step up.
At 17:58 of the first period. Give it to Robert Smythe, number 22, assisted by number 27, Max Meyer, and number 16, Tyler Griffith. That's Smythe from Meyer and Griffith.
He shoots, he scores. Robert Smythe with another goal. Boy, he's been so valuable here. And we thought this was going to be secondary scoring for Arizona Jackson, but with those other top scorers out, he's our first line scorer now.
Yeah, he's a primary scorer right now while those guys are out, and that's exactly what the Cats need when someone like Cusinelli and Westland are out. They need some guys to step up, and Robert Smythe came in at just the right time for the Cats, joining the team this semester, and being able to score a goal a game is a huge accomplishment.
That is amazing, especially since he didn't play in the first semester. Obviously had himself in hockey game shape from the get-go, and Arizona benefits as they have the puck in the Rowdy Raiders zone. Comes right in on Mike Cowell, but he kicks it out. Manny Rose able to keep it in, and he sends it down low. There's a nice tip attempt inside, but it doesn't get through.
And the Cats are also getting some decent zone time here as well.
So 1:28 to go in the first period. And we're all tied up 1-1. Well, this is better than the hole that Arizona had dug for itself last night, Jackson. But they have not solved this Rowdy Raiders team by any stretch of the imagination.
No, it's a 1-1 game, and the Wildcats' goal came off of two nice passes that we haven't seen a lot of in this game. If they had been doing that the whole game, we could argue that they might have this team a little bit figured out, but they need to find a way to stop the Rowdy Raiders' rush and get more zone time.
Yeah, it's even on the scoreboard, Jackson, but I think that Arizona's been outplayed a little bit here by the Raiders once again. So we're heading toward a minute to go in the period. Now in between the first and second period, Leah Merrill will be in with interviews of Arizona players.
1 minute remaining in the first period.
This is a nice save. Sherrill was left sitting duck. Another beautiful cross-ice pass by the Raiders, and Sherrill kind of expected it, jumped over a little quicker, and he was able to make the save.
Yeah, Sherrill was very alert there, but he was outside of his net. If he misses that puck, it goes to someone who's just thrown right into the net. Very dangerous for Arizona there. You know, if you're Coach Austin Bevilacqua of the Rowdy Raiders, what do you say to your guys after the first period of play?
There's not much you can say. They're doing exactly what they need to do. I'd say just more of what they're doing. They're making nice lateral passes. They have a beautiful breakout, and they get on the rush so quickly. All 5 players are involved on their rush, which is something you don't see from every team. So I wouldn't change much if I'm Coach Bevilacqua of the Milwaukee School of Engineering.
So Ty Griffith taken down there without the puck. Should have been an interference call, or could have been an interference call, but play continues on. And the Raiders are back over the line again and offside. 23 seconds to go in the first period. We're all tied up 1-1. And you know, not that I want threats to the University of Arizona on home ice, but this is not what I was expecting from MSOE, and it's great and better for this Arizona squad to have this level of really good competition.
Yeah, this is exactly the kind of team you want to be playing this late in the season. You want to gear up for the last 2 weeks and hopefully for a national tournament run. You don't want to be playing these teams that don't give you a nice competition. And I think, like some, seeing this team as a Division III ACHA team, it was hard to expect what they've been bringing to the table this weekend.
Oh, almost another tape-to-tape beautiful pass there going cross ice, and that's the end of the period. We're tied 1-1 between number 14 Arizona and the Milwaukee School of Engineering Rowdy Raiders. Yeah, I think you're right there, Jackson. I think if I'm Coach Bevilacqua, I say keep going, hydrate, have some Powerade.
Yeah.
Because you're going to need that in the third period. Now, if you're Coach Berman, what do you say to the Wildcat squad?
You have to take control of this game. Both nights, the Rowdy Raiders have taken over the first period. They've taken the puck possession, and they move the puck so fast and so well that the Wildcats just can't seem to get the jump on where this puck's going. So they really have to get on their man and stop those passes from happening, whether that's sticks and lanes or just, you know, maybe instead of going body first, they go stick first.
Engineering, 6 for the University of Arizona. And your score after 1 is a 1-1.
So not many shots on goal, 7 for MSOE and only 6 for the U of A.
Well, I'll tell you what, Tim, I don't think the scoreboard or the shots on goal stats really reflect how this game's going so far. I think the Rowdy Raiders have dominated the zone play. If we could have a timer on the zone possession time, I think that would heavily favor the Milwaukee School of Engineering.
I see it the same way. Not only is this a pesky team, it's a talented team, a determined team, and boy, do they compete. These are competitors on these guys. I give high marks to this MSOE team. You know, their NCAA Division III team must be marvelous. If these are ex-players from that team playing at the ACHA level, this is everything and more that Wildcat fans would want in an opponent coming in. Although, you know, you have to say that Arizona fans want to see names. They want to see name teams that they recognize. You know, the Penn States, the Ohio States, the you know, real rivals for Arizona. Arizona State University and other Pac-10 teams. I think it's because no one knows. I didn't know about the Milwaukee School of Engineering and their hockey teams until this week. I just didn't know about them. And so I think some fans you know, might not get excited about the opponent. Well, this is a quality opponent.
Yeah, I think, like you said, we didn't know a lot about this team coming in, but I think this team, they kind of wanted to teach everybody in this building, everybody watching these games, that they're a good opponent for the Wildcats. They've brought everything they've had last night, and then in this first period, that's exactly what they did as well. So I expect nothing less in the next 2 periods from that team. I expect them to come out just as fast and as quickly, trying to make those nice cross-ice passes in the next 2 periods as they did in the first. And hopefully for them, if they don't start running out of gas and have to come up for air, they're going to be able to bring it to this Wildcat team for another 40 minutes.
Okay. Well, that'll bring the first period to a conclusion. It's 1-1. So stick with us in between the first and second period. We'll have some player interviews, and we'll get back to University of Arizona Wildcat hockey.
That's closer. A little too much. All right, one final shot for both of you. Oh, looks like that's going in the net too. I might have another one. Oh, so close. All right, Jack, last shot. Oh, there you go. Maybe. All right, congratulations, Jack. You are a winner.
In the grass this time, 'cause some dog owner left poo behind. No, it's not fair, especially since there's a trash can right over there. Pick up after your dog, don't wanna see, smell, or step on any logs. How hard can it be to pick up your dog's debris? Come on, we can win this. Remove your pooch's business. Use a bag or scoop. Get rid of the dog's poop. Pick up after your dog. Don't wanna see, smell, or step on any logs. How hard can it be to pick up your dog's debris? Come on, we can win this. Remove your pooch's business. Use a bag or scoop. Get rid of the dog's poop. trifling to trifling to pick it up. Pick up after your dog. Don't wanna see, smell, or step on any logs. How hard can it be to pick up your dog's to play? Come on, we can win this. Remove your purchase business. Use a bag or scoop. Get rid of the dog food. Go curb, curb your dog. Curb, 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 curb your dog. Lazy. Curb, curb, curb your dog. Curb, 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 curb your dog. Irresponsible. Curb, curb, curb your dog. Curb, 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 curb your dog. Lazy. Curb, 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 curb your dog. Curb, 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 curb your dog. Someone call the po-po. Someone need to pick up this dodo.
There is no doubt that number 16, Kelly Walker, is the best of the best. Kelly, when I think of you, I think of the love and the commitment and the greatness you achieved here, right on this ice. Kelly and his teammates were 24-0 versus ASU over that 4-year stretch. Please direct your attention to the south end of the Tucson Arena as we now reveal the banner honoring Kelly Walker. Please welcome back to the ice of the Tucson Arena, number 16, Kelly Walker.
You guys have a chance to show this town college hockey at the greatest level that you guys play. So I'm just extremely humbled to be here.
Hi, I'm Leah Merrill. We're live on the University of Arizona Wildcat YouTube page. After the first period of play, it's Arizona and Milwaukee School of Engineering, game tied 1-1. I'm here with defenseman Trey Kearns. Trey, it is puck for paws tonight. Everyone's here with their dog, so I'm going to ask you, do you have a dog at home?
Yeah, I do. I have, he's kind of sort of a mutt. He was a rescue dog. My parents love him, and I'm a big dog person, so yeah. I do.
And what's your dog's name?
His name's Chevy.
And where'd that name come from?
Well, we like trucks, and I know Chevy's a truck brand, so we named him Chevy. It's kind of, a universal name, I guess.
Cool. So on the subject of tonight, there's one period to play. The score's tied. So what did you think about your team's play in the first period?
I thought they played hard. Obviously there were some things they could improve on. I know Berman really likes to get the guys, involved in the game early, physically, and everything else like that. So I think, the more the game goes on and the more we get it in deeper in their zone, it'd be better.
Cool. And so your bio says that you're from Peoria, but is that where you grew up?
I was born in Phoenix. I grew up in Ohio, and then I came back to Arizona, and then I kind of bounced around from then. But yeah, so I was born in Arizona, raised in Ohio, and then came back to Arizona. Yeah.
Got it. And did you play any high school hockey in Arizona, or did you just go right to junior? And if so, where did you play?
I played junior hockey my junior year of high school, and I went to New Mexico my first year of juniors, and then after that I kind of bounced around. I went to Maine, I went to Vermont, New Jersey, and a couple other places on the East Coast.
And now you're a junior at the U of A, so you've been here for a few years. So what's your favorite hockey memory being here at the U of A?
I think anytime we beat ASU, it's a really great experience, and it's something you remember. I remember I scored a goal last year against ASU, and it was a really special moment for me. So I guess those would be the moments I remember.
And now I'm just going to ask you some fun questions about you and your teammates. So my first question is, if there could be a reality TV show about anyone on the team, who would it be and why?
Oh gosh, probably Sean Osment, number 5, because his nickname's Hollywood, and he lives up to his nickname 100%. He's a really good guy. He's fun to be around, and there's always a story you got to tell about honesty. So.
All right, and then who would be? I know people often ask who would be the best super driver on a team. Who do you think would be the worst?
Oh gosh, I know someone got asked this a little while ago, and they got a little bit in trouble for it from the guys on the team. But the worst super driver?
Who would be a bad driver, do you think?
I think Churro might be a bad driver just because he's so quiet. He's a great guy. I just think he's too quiet to be an Uber driver. I don't know.
That's a fair answer. All right, and who, if you got stuck in an elevator with anyone, who would you want it to be?
Oh man. Probably Chris Westland, just because me and him are really close. We're good buddies, and he's you wouldn't expect it, but he's a really funny guy. He's real quiet, but he's real funny. So probably him.
And then who do you think is the best wingman on the team out of everyone?
That's a tough question. I have no idea. Maybe Trey Decker. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm sorry.
That's fine. All right. So thank you so much. This has been Trey Kearns. It's 1-1 Arizona and Milwaukee School of Engineering. After one period, we'll be back with the broadcast team for the second period in just a few minutes. I'm Leah Merrill. Thank you so much.
Oh, that explains it. It wouldn't have worked out anyway, because every time they said hike, I had to go to the bathroom. Look, someone's coming. I gotta go. See you tomorrow. Big tree. Bye.
You know I don't have hands. I don't have feet. I got 4 hairy paws. I think it's kind of neat. Especially when I gotta chase that dumb old milk-licking, mouse-chomping cat. You know I might be a dog, but nobody ever tells me to scat. When we're riding in the car, I sit in the back. I stick my face out the window, you can hear my tongue flap. Now all this time I thought I was folks like you, but I guess I'm a dog and I guess that'll do. If it's a dog's life, then I'm living large. Every night I get a treat from a big old lady named Marge. Even a dog needs love, don't forget about that. You know, a dog needs more love than a big old smelly, hairy, furball coughing cat. Yeah, I'd rather be a dog than a big old fat, hairy, stinky cat. Young man.
Waggle, waggle, waggle. Waggle, waggle, waggle. Waggle, waggle, waggle. Just sniff a little. Hello. Doggy bone, you're a treat. Got me on this wall, sense of smell complete. If I take a whiff while you wag and bark, I can make you famous at the doggy park. Just wag it, woo. Your tail like a rope on it, woo. Ready for war, let me tug it, woo. Whoa, I can't squeak it. You know what to do with that furry tail. Waggle, waggle, waggle. Waggle, waggle, waggle. Waggle, waggle, waggle. Just sniff a little. Hello. Come on, doggy, shake your tail. You smell like a hydrant. Let me sniff. It's just one thing that gives me fleas. You can't kill them with your tail's grease. You know what to do with that furry tail. Waggle, waggle, waggle. Waggle, waggle, waggle. Waggle, waggle, waggle. Just sniff a little. Hello.
So if you're wondering about all the dog-themed music, it's Pucks for Paws night here at the Tucson Arena in our game between number 14 Arizona and the Milwaukee School of Engineering, which means there's hundreds of dogs in the building. You bought a little doggy ticket, and all proceeds go to the Humane Society of Southern Arizona. And I'm joined now by Jackson Peters. I'm Timothy Gasson, and we're going to bring you the second period of action. What do the Cats need to do to take control of this game, Jackson?
Like I said before the break, they really need to take control. They need to stop the Milwaukee School of Engineering. That's the only way they're going to be able to take control, is they have to stop them first, put more pressure on them, and keep the puck in their zone. The Rowdy Raiders are having too easy of a time getting out of their zone. Every time they touch the puck, all five guys go the opposite way. It's just they're not putting enough pressure on to stop that rush.
Yeah, Coach Berman talked about this, and I know they met, the coaching staff met with the Wildcats squad about trying to get that aggressive forecheck and trying to slow down that breakout. But as you said, it's one thing to, you know, chart things up and say do this. It's another to bring it to the ice and make it happen. And so far, the Rowdy Raiders have done a good job of moving the puck, and it's really interesting. They activate in the offense like immediately. There's no, they really attack the goal. And as I said before, I think this is the kind of team playing in an unusual style, a different style than Arizona usually plays. That could help them, actually. Of course, you want them to score more goals and win the game.
Yeah, it's always good for teams this late in the season to play different styled teams. So when they get to the national tournament, and you know, they could play teams they haven't seen this year or even possibly last year, so they get an idea that they can be prepared for anything.
Well, Arizona's going to play some offensive-minded teams coming up next week, especially at Central Oklahoma. Let's see if they learn their lessons here in the second and third period. We're just underway with Milwaukee and Arizona tied 1-1. There's a weak shot on goal, and I apologize in advance for any hacking or coughing you might hear. Most of the Arizona media team caught a cold up in chilly Tempe, Arizona, in an ice box that they call Oceanside Arena. But if hockey players can power through, so can we. Especially in this competitive game, as Arizona comes right in. Wow! Ty Griffith dances through the crease and backhands that one home. Ty Griffith, you shoot, you score, and Arizona takes an early in the second period 2-1 lead.
And I'm surprised that goal was, Ty Griffith almost made that look easy. Surely pretty difficult, but MSOE did something they haven't done last night or in the first period. They let the crease be open, and Ty Griffith took advantage of that.
Yeah, it was almost as if Ty, here's the call.
Can't goal at 54 seconds of the second period, unassisted by number 16, Tyler Griffith. Tyler Griffith unassisted at 54 seconds of the second.
Yeah, it was almost like Tyler was waiting for someone to stop him as he made his move toward the goal, but there was no one there. And he just walked in and roofed a backhander.
And usually in that situation, you expect some kind of attack against you because that's what the defenseman is in front of the crease for, to stop you, and he just didn't pull up on him.
Puck goes right through the crease again, but no Wildcat in the area. Now, how does this young Wildcat squad respond to having a lead?
Well, we've said it all year. They have a hard time with building on a lead. A lot of times they just try to stay with this one-goal lead, and they don't try to attack more. What they need to do is keep the pressure on and keep getting these good looks and good chances so they can try and run away with games.
Play continues on, and the puck comes in on Shuro, and he just freezes there. We'll have a face-off. Wildcat fans, I wanted you to know about a former Wildcat goaltender, Eric Holton. Has a brand of jerseys out. He has, which I think is remarkably clever. He was a goaltender. He calls himself the world's okayest goaltender. Not great, not bad. He has jerseys that say world's okayest goaltender. He plays in the Tucson Adult League here. And he has dog jerseys that he's selling here tonight, with the proceeds going to the Humane Society of Southern Arizona. And there's an University of Arizona themed one that you can get here. Or you can go to okgoalie.com, just okgoalie.com. He has all kinds of really fun T-shirts and custom-made jerseys, great sense of humor. And the little red, white, and blue Arizona dog jersey, of course the number on it is K9, is delightful. So head over to okgoalie.com. That's our friend Eric, who is Eric Holton, who, of course, was about 20 years ago a fine U of A goaltender. He's also a trivia question answer. Who's the one Arizona college hockey player who also played professional hockey in Tucson? It's Eric Holton. He was an emergency goaltender back in the WPHL in like 1997 with the Gila Monsters.
How about that? That's some. I'm excited to get that trivia question so I can make sure I get the right answer on that one.
Yeah. That was it for his college career because he went and played a few games with the Gila Monsters, but we have a photo of him in his Gila Monsters jersey from 20 years ago now. That was a minor league professional team in Tucson for about a year and a half, from like 96 to 97. Now, at that time, they just couldn't compete with the University of Arizona hockey team. The roles are a little reversed now with the pro hockey team here in Tucson, as Tucson now tries to compete for hockey fans with another pro hockey team here in Tucson. A lot of good hockey being played in Tucson, Arizona.
And I think that just really emphasizes, Tucson is not only battling, it's the whole state of Arizona is becoming more of a hockey state. And as a young hockey kid born and raised in Arizona, it's great to see.
Well, I have great pride in the hockey progress in the University of Arizona. I know you do too. And it's like I have great pride in the Division I NCAA team they have up at Arizona State. And longtime Arizona fans are saying, what? Tim Gasson enjoys the success of an Arizona State University team? Well, it's the Division I NCAA team. They don't play the University of Arizona. They play at a different level of hockey, so I feel morally cleansed, ethically cleansed, that I can cheer for them in their success, because it's making hockey better in the state of Arizona.
Exactly. It's not cheering for Arizona State. It's cheering for Arizona hockey.
That's what I'll keep telling myself, Jackson. Yeah, because it sounded bad. The more I talked about it, the worse that sounded. For the voice of the University of Arizona Wildcats to root for ASU's Division I team.
Yeah, so it's always exciting to see when a team, is building on everything. And I think that's exactly what the Wildcats are doing. They're trying to build this program to be so much more than it already is right now. And return it to, like you said, when it was the dominant hockey force in Tucson, like you said it was in your prime with Kelly Walker. Yeah. And I think that's what a lot of these young guys could potentially end up doing to this program. Yeah, the Arizona hockey's on its way back competitively. Now we got to get back competitively in the stands. Plenty of hockey fans in Tucson to go around for everybody. We want everybody to be successful here.
As plays back on now, about 5 minutes to go in the second period. Arizona now suddenly with a 1-goal lead, something that they didn't have until much later in the game last night.
No, we saw it until almost halfway through the second period that they start to take over this game. They were down 2-0 in the beginning of the second period, and they need to do more of what they did in the second period last night. I thought that was their best period last night. If they can play the rest of this game like they did in the second period of last night's game, I think they'll walk out of this game very successful.
Yeah, we were convinced that Arizona would walk away with the game in the third period because of the short bench that the Raiders have, and that just didn't happen. The Raiders actually played an excellent third period. They just didn't win the game. But we'll see if our predictions about that gas tank and where that needle is as the Cats rush in on goaltender Mike Howell, but the puck goes wide.
And this is a team that I think knows, they're very aware that they have a short bench. They're not making that little extra play when they don't need to. They're only doing what they have to right now, probably in an effort to consume, or not consume as much energy for later.
I think you're right. I think they're pacing themselves now as a backhand attempt goes wide. Jacob Killian sent it wide. The game has kind of settled down here a little bit as there's a long stretch pass that will go for an icing. Good idea there.
And it looks like that's number 6, Josh Larson, that's a little bit upset with that icing call. I thought he was going to get to that one first as well. But I guess that's why the officials are making the calls and not me. But it looks like that one's going to come all the way back.
Yeah, there was not a Raider anywhere near Josh Larson. You know, when you get to those face-off dots, you're supposed to, you can call the icing then. And Josh Larson was there. There was not a Raider anywhere in sight, but the whistle blew and icing was called. Play continues on here, though, as the Cats come in a dipsy-do right through the slot. That was Trey Decker, who also a very young hockey player, but playing with a lot of confidence now.
And we've talked about these young players all year long. This is where their confidence really needs to be at the highest. So when they're going in to Oklahoma next weekend, when they're hopefully going to make a run at the national tournament, they need to be at the top of their game, and they can't be scared of what's coming. They have to act as much like a veteran as they can.
Yeah, we talk about so many freshmen as the Cats come in, and oh, that was Ethan Stouthouth who sent the puck over the net. A good little burst of speed there and a good shot, but it missed the net. Arizona really trying to assert themselves here as we're heading to the halfway mark of the game. 12:45 to go in the second period. Arizona with a 2-1 lead.
Looks like we're going to call against the Wildcats here. I believe it'll be tripping. I'm sure we'll catch that puck, and we'll see what this call's for.
Boy, I didn't see it, Jackson. But Jack Allen is going to go to the box for 2 minutes, and we'll wait for the call.
Penalty at 7:20 of the second period on number 7, Jack Allen for tripping. Allen, number 7 for tripping.
So Jack Allen will spend 2 minutes in the sin bin for tripping. 12:20 to go in the second period, and $1:40 to go in the power play as MSOE gains some speed through neutral zone into the Wildcat zone. Sends it over to the far side point. It's Ian Wilkowitz with the puck. Back to Wilkowitz. Comes to the near side, back to Wilkowitz. And it gets deflected, luckily, to an Arizona player.
This power play is huge for the Rowdy Raiders. Not only do they have a chance to score, it also gives them a chance to slow down and conserve a little bit of energy. They don't have to be making those quick rush breaks like they have been all game. They can just settle down for 2 minutes and hopefully get a good scoring opportunity.
Well, as you know, Jackson, you expend a lot of energy killing a penalty, and that always takes a toll out of a team if they have to kill a lot of penalties.
Yeah, and I think that's something that this team's going to be very aware of. They need to stay out of the box, and not only to give themselves a good opportunity to win this game and not give the Wildcats a man up on the power play. That's a very tiring thing, especially if you get 4 guys caught out there for minute 30 or even the whole penalty kill. That's exhausting, and those 4 guys are going to need a pretty good break. The Rowdy Raiders will get another rush here.
.45 seconds to go on the power play. Oh, and they give the puck away, and Cats are able to send it down the ice. Now just about 35 seconds to go on the power play. Ethan Stalyuth there dogging the puck carrier. Now you see, this is what it's hard to do, but you have to stop the speed of MSOE through that neutral zone.
Yeah, and even on the penalty kill, that's going to be important. You can see number 19, Justin Plomoff there. He's going after it because that's how you can stop this rush. Even though you have one less guy, you have to get on this team quick because it doesn't matter how many guys you have. If they can get that speed going, it's going to be hard to stop them.
And that's what Coach Berman means when he says we have to cut the head off the monster. You have to stop that pass and that break before it gets started. We're back to even strength, but that crafty Patrick Dyer checked that, skated in and shot the puck wide.
And one thing this team's doing that is hurting the Wildcats is they're winning almost every race to loose pucks. And if the Wildcats want to win this game and games going forward, they have to win these one-on-one puck battles.
Keelan Ulnick keeps the puck into the zone. Nice little move over the blue line. We're halfway home, Jackson. Less than 10 minutes to go in the second period. Arizona with a 1-goal lead. Puck comes back to Ulnick. Doesn't have a shooting lane though.
This has been a pretty quick period so far. There haven't been a lot of whistles, and that's something that hurts this MSOE team. Those whistles are a huge break for them. So the Wildcats can expend these guys and keep the lines rolling. I'm not sure if this Rowdy Raiders team can forever.
Good sequence here for Arizona as they have a lot of puck possession time. That could be an interference call. No, nothing called there. As Patrick Dyer was held up there, and Manny Rose sends the puck back in. That was the best puck possession of the period. Jackson is... Ryan Olsen gives up the puck to a Raider who's looking for anyone to send it to. Several good shots on goal, great puck movement. They just didn't put the puck in the net.
No, they didn't. But regardless if they put the puck in the net or not, they need to keep on that offensive pressure. That's going to wear down this team, and it's going to give them the best shot of finding what works in the offensive zone and what doesn't.
We do have a delayed penalty now on Arizona. The net is empty for the Rowdy Raiders, and the penalty will start as soon as Arizona touches the puck, which they do. Right in front of the empty net. Tantalizingly there, but as soon as Arizona touches the puck, the whistle blows, and we'll have the minor penalty. That's Trey Decker, who's going to the box. I was talking about how confident a game he plays.
The Cats are lucky they didn't get 2 on that play. There was a hit late on that shift right before they touched the puck that easily could have been called.
And these are the things that can keep a team like MSOE in the game, is you give them power plays. They just had one a couple minutes ago. They go back with the man advantage now, trailing by a goal. Well, 2 minutes for slashing. But that's not Jack Allen. I believe that's Trey Decker in the box.
Luckily for the Cats there, the puck's going to bounce out of the zone, but we saw it just there. You can't send the puck up the middle of the ice when you're trying to send it down on a penalty kill. It's got to go high and hard on the outside. Even if you don't get it out, it's got to go to the outside. Because if you put it straight down the middle, you give that defenseman a great shot if you can get to the puck.
Minute 10 to go on the power play for MSOE. Ooh, the puck dangerously squirts out right through the slot, right through the crease there. The Raiders are able to pick it up and send it down low. Shuro was unsure what to do, going back and forth from post to post there. Arizona really dodges a bullet and gets the puck.
Yeah, I think if Rowdy Raider, Gage Christensen pulls the trigger quicker and score there, and that's exactly what the Wildcats need to do, is get that goaltender moving.
Boy, Sean Osment with a nice bid there, cutting across the crease, but the puck deflects wide. That was the best passing sequence that Arizona has had in this game.
Yeah, absolutely, and they need to see more of that. Coach Berman definitely has to be saying, hey guys, we need more of what just happened. That's what we need to do. We need to get this goaltender moving, and we need to keep possession of the puck.
Instead, the puck comes in on Shuro. He very calmly grabs it there. There's a little bit of pushing and shoving in front of the goaltender. Arizona nursing a 1-goal lead. Very reminiscent of last night's game. Just one shot here, one shot there is the only difference in this game.
Yeah, we saw that last night. The Rowdy Raiders had a few post opportunities, and that game could have easily been, 4-0 before the Cats started scoring. So that's just what's happening here. A few inches to the left, a few inches to the right, and this could be a totally different game. However, the Cats need to realize that and say, hey, we need to take control and stop those opportunities from even getting close.
6:42 to go in the second period. Arizona with a 2-1 lead. Puck is blocked out front, squirts in on goal. Past Tyga Bauer. In the near side corner now. Digging for it there, comes up the boards. We're back at full strength now, but there's a great glove save by Anthony Shuro. As a Red Raider, or I'm sorry, I apologize again, they're the Rowdy Raiders.
Well, I'll tell you what, Tim, I think Shuro is definitely making his case tonight on why he thinks he deserves to be that goalie that they're going to ride into the national tournament. He's played incredibly well tonight. I think he's had 2 or 3 of plays like that where he's had slid across the crease and just stayed on top of it.
Well, and that's one of those saves that you got to make in a hockey game to help your team win, because he was dead to rights in the sights of Rowdy Raider and flashed that glove and made a fine save. Well, there's going to be so many times just like that in a 1-goal game where your goaltender has to make the big save.
Yeah, because if he doesn't, that could potentially change the whole way the momentum's going.
Yeah.
If you're battling in front and getting the pucks out and he lets in one that he could have had, that's devastating to a team.
Ooh, puck pinballs around right into the slot, but look how quickly this Raiders team counter punches. They're right back with a beautiful little tip in on Shuro, but he guides it aside. Oh, Manny Rowe was just missed on a outlet pass. He would have been on one-on-one. As the Raiders bumped off the puck there. It was Nick LaRue, who it looked like for a second he had a lane going down the slot, but it was poked away. So 5:18 to go in the second period. 2-1 lead for Arizona, but this game is far from decided.
Yeah, Tim, and one thing I want to point out is this team is they play what I call north-south hockey. They don't spend any time going side to side, although they do with the passes. All 5 guys are moving in one direction, and that's how they gain so much speed, is because they don't spend any time floating around in the neutral zone. They go north-south, and that's working for them.
Yeah, I think their style is to spend as little time in the neutral zone as possible. And it's a good style for them.
Yeah, and it's something that the Wildcats, it's almost, they can't even prepare for it when they want to, because as soon as they touch the puck, they're gone.
Yeah, Arizona has not been able to exploit or counterpunch and come back the other way with speed. Here's an example of how quickly the Raiders get up ice and over the blue line and get a shot in on Shuro. He very calmly just scoops it up. Whistle blows. We'll have a whistle. 4:49 to go in the second. Another good hockey game here, Jackson, as the Cats have a 1-goal lead. But boy, I don't know how many times this year we've seen them protect a 1-goal lead for, more than a period.
Yeah, we've seen them have a very hard time of keeping teams, especially ones that cause a real annoyance, like the Milwaukee School of Engineering. They're really staying on top of it and don't want to let it build into a bigger lead that they have to overcome. The Wildcats really need to jump on this quick and give this team a little less hope.
Yeah, MSOE is right there now as we head towards 4 minutes to go in the second period. And we know it. Excuse me. We know a team, when they feel that they can hang around, suddenly they have just a little more energy in their step.
Yeah, and we keep talking about how this team only has 15 guys. They're not playing like it. They're playing with so much speed and so much effort. It's hard to believe they only have 15.
Yeah, I've seen so many teams run out of gas, you know, when they have a short bench like this, but it hasn't happened yet. Now the Raiders want to try to get to the locker room with 3:40 to go in the second without giving up another goal and give themselves a little bit of rest to come back and just deal with a 1-goal deficit. As they move in, and there's a shot that if that's on goal, that's a goal. Brady Casada had a nice setup, about 15 feet out from Sherrill, but it goes wide. But they're thinking about, even in this game up, not just being down by 1 after 2 periods of play.
No, and this is a team that I feel like could almost go into the locker room with a 1-goal deficit and still find a way to come right back out like nothing ever happened.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be fazed by being down by a goal if that's what happens here. The puck goes to Josh Larson. I don't know where he was looking to send that puck. Comes up the near side boards and now out to center ice. Ooh, and Arizona gives it up right at their blue line, but escapes as it's tipped into the zone off of Decker's stick. Tries to center it. Josh Larson goes for behind the net. That's going to be called a penalty, and that player just fell down.
Yeah, and that's hard. That's a hard call for a ref to make because even though it may look like a dive in some sense, from whatever position he's in, that does look like a punishable penalty.
Yeah, no, as you said, especially from behind, it's hard for the referee to gauge, was he really brought down or not? Well, it was called a penalty, so with 2:36 to go in the second period, the Raiders get exactly what they need. They get a power play to end almost the end of the second period to try to tie this thing up.
Yeah, and like we've said before, even though this team I feel like could go in the locker room with a 1-goal deficit, the Wildcats have a hard time dealing with those goals in the last minute of a period. They have a hard time stopping teams from scoring those.
Arizona picks it up, though, and is able to come back the other way. That's Sean Osment, who just sends it down behind the goal. The old classic, I can't skate, I can't see, I want to be a referee, from fans who don't appreciate the minor penalty, which has 1:20 to go. As there's a good stick there by a Wildcat to keep that shot from coming off the stick to the goaltender, and it comes all the way down the ice, where Mike Cowell picks it up. 1 minute to go on the power play for the Rowdy Raiders.
Something we haven't seen them do. They took that time behind the net to set up a nice play. But they'll still have a little bit of struggle. The Cats finally putting on some pressure, especially on this penalty kill, because they know that this is a scary team to let have so much ice.
Yeah, absolutely right. A scary team to, give them that little glimpse of hope as we're down to 35 seconds to go in the power play. MSOE set up now. Will they get a good shot on goal? Another good stick there from Justin Plumoff. Tips the puck to the far wall and now ends up inside the trapezoid behind the net. Finally comes out to the point. Big windup and another block by Plumoff. Are they able to get it out? They are able to get it out. Plumoff races for it there. Could have been a 3-on-2 break there, but Arizona was at the end of their penalty killing shift and just head to the bench. 25 seconds to go in the period. Arizona leading 2-1. over a talented Milwaukee School of Engineering squad.
And not only is this team talented, they're determined. They're determined to come into this building on the weekend and try to win at least one game, if not two, when they came in here. So we saw, I mean, last night's game ended in the last minute. It was a tie game with just under 1 minute left. So I think we can expect to see that in the third period.
Well, and that'll do it for the second period of play. It's the University of Arizona 2, the Milwaukee School of Engineering 1. And we'll go into our intermission report. Let's talk just for a second about this game first. Jackson, I did sense in the last 5 minutes of that period, the Milwaukee School of Engineering trying to peel back the pace there just a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that's something that being on the power play gave them a chance to do. It allowed them to just step back for a second.
Engineering 8, Arizona 6.
Not a lot of shots on goal in this game.
No, two very low-scoring periods. And last night, it was pretty different. The first period was 16 to 9, I believe. Either way, MSOE almost doubled the Wildcats' shots on goal last night, and it was almost reversed for that in the second period. So we're not seeing a lot of shots, and I think a lot of that has to do with both these teams are kind of learning where these teams like to take shots from. And on that power play for the Rowdy Raiders, we saw the Wildcats try and get sticks and lanes and eat a lot of pucks is what I like to call it. They like to block shots there, and that stopped a few good chances.
So MSOE with 8 shots on goal in the second period, Arizona with 6. So that's 12 in the game so far for Arizona. Only 12 shots on goal and only 15 shots on goal for MSOE. There's been a lot of back and forth action. I'm surprised at that low shot count there, Jackson. But somehow the Rowdy Raiders are going to have a few more shots in their sticks in this third period, the all-important third period. Will Arizona sweep MSOE and gain some momentum going into the Oklahoma weekend? Well, we're going to find out in the third period. What do you have to talk about in the intermission report?
So speaking of Oklahoma on the weekend, we play Oklahoma, University of Oklahoma on Friday. Last night, they beat the Division II ACHA team, Texas A&M, by a score of 14-0, and beat them tonight 11-1.
Now, you see, that won't help them. I mean, it looks good, but that won't help them get ready to play Arizona, that level of competition, don't you think?
Yeah, and you can see from that scoreboard, sometimes we talk about how the score is misleading. When it's a 10-goal deficit, that's hard to be misleading.
Yeah.
That's not the kind of matchup that Oklahoma wants to be looking for. So, looking over last night again, Lindenwood beat Central Oklahoma by a score of 8-2 last night and shut them out 3-0 tonight. And that's big for the Wildcats because, as you know, in the top 3, they're fighting for those scores.
Kismet, did I just hear you right? Central Oklahoma lost 2 games in a row?
That's correct.
Wow.
According to the WCHL Twitter.
Wow.
And then 2 games still going on tonight. Colorado Boulder versus the University of Arkansas and Missouri State playing Colorado State. But last night, Boulder beat Arkansas by a score of 3-2, and Missouri State defeated Colorado State by a score of 6-1. So as we take those and then we look at the WCHL rankings as of last night, for the first time in a while, the University of Colorado jumps over the University of Arizona with 40 points, Arizona with 37, and then third spot, the University of Central Oklahoma with 35. In the fourth spot, Missouri State 27, Oklahoma 20, Arizona State Sun Devils 20, Colorado State with 15, and Arkansas rounding out the bottom with 10 points.
And that's really not a surprise, Jackson, because of how Central Oklahoma and Colorado have so many games in hand. They have a handful of games that the Arizona's already played, so they can make up that time. And this is what we thought probably was going to happen, that in the second semester, Colorado or Central Oklahoma would overtake Arizona just because they had many more league games to play. But hey, second place in the WCHL ain't bad either.
No, especially when you're that close, even with just 2 or 3 games in hand, they're still going to be in those top 3. Those 3 teams are kind of running away in the WCHL standings. And we do have to keep in mind that those won't affect the possibility of going to nationals. Those are the ACHA rankings, in which the University of Arizona is 14th.
Yeah, this next weekend really will help Arizona, even if they lose these 3 games, because they're playing top 25 opponents all 3 nights. Of course, the Wildcats want to win all 3 of those games. If that would happen, they might be able to vault up a few spots close to that top 10. But let's say a disaster strikes and they drop all three. Because of the strength of schedule based on their opponents, they might stay where they are or just drop a spot or so. This is where the computer model for the American Collegiate Hockey Association uses goals for and against as part of the calculation. Arizona, if they don't win any of those 3 games next week in Oklahoma, just have to keep away from those 7-1 kind of games.
And as long as they stay competitive in those 3 games, much like they did with the University of Central Oklahoma when they were here, they're going to have a better chance of staying in a similar spot in the standings.
What else do you have for us, Jack?
So I just want to pop over the ACHA rankings just a little bit, just talk about it a little bit. We do know that Minot State is still in first, that glorious first place spot. If I can find the rankings for the ACHA. Well, regardless, the University of Arizona is in a spot in which they don't get a chance to be in a lot with Coach Berman. We talked about it earlier in the year how when they were ranked 13th in the ACHA, that was the highest ranking that Coach Berman's been at with this squad. And I think that's something important that we have to look at, because even though it's not first place, it's not the top 10, they're still in such a good spot going into this position in the national tournament. And, Coach Berman has to be happy with not only himself, but his squad as well.
Well, and I believe this is the first 20-win season in the Coach Berman era. This is his 4th year at Arizona, and that's a great benchmark to make. But, Arizona doesn't want to be satisfied with just winning the Cactus Cup, with just winning 20 games, or just having been in first place at the WCHL. They want to win big things.
Yeah, and, you talk to all the players, all the coaches at the beginning of the season. Their number one desire is to bring a championship to Tucson for the University of Arizona. And if they want to do that, they're going to have to build on those little things like, getting those 20-win seasons and getting higher rankings than they've ever been before, and just keeping the train moving on a path to that.
All right, well, that'll do it for our second period intermission. It's the University of Arizona 2, MSOE 1. We'll come back in just a few minutes to bring you the third period of play of what we think is going to be an exciting game between the Rowdy Raiders and the Wildcats. So come on back and join Jackson Peters and myself, and we'll bring you the third period.
Shane Fossell. Coach Fossell, where should we start with goaltenders?
Well, Tim, why don't we go in the locker room and see how the boys put their gear on?
Do you get nervous before a game?
Yeah, I think it's always good to have a little nerves. Nothing crazy though. I mean, once you get too nervous, I mean, it can affect your game. But a little nerves before game time help get you focused, help get you ready.
What causes a goaltender suddenly to go on a winning streak? Is it confidence? Is it their skills coming together? Is it all of that all at once? What makes a goaltender go on a hot streak?
Yeah, I think it's everything put together. Everything just starts to come together at the right time. I think they start tracking the puck well. It starts looking much bigger than a puck. It starts to look like a basketball to you as a goalie, and you just feel confident. You know that you're going to make that save.
What's the most difficult thing for a goaltender's coach to explain to a goaltender?
I think just how to get yourself mentally prepared for each game and how to stay in that zone and stay positive. And every goalie is different, and they're going to prepare differently, and just understanding what works for one goalie versus another.
Is there anything like making that big save right at the moment that you actually really in a game you know it's a big save? Is it for a goaltender? Is there anything better than that?
That's why you play the position. That's why you play the sport, is to make those big saves. And
I might be waggy, but I wanna play. I'm your best friend, you can get away. I deserve a treat, cause I'm a fluffy babe. I got hair shaking the air, doggy by the day. Because I'm happy. Rock alone if you feel like your master loves you. Because I'm wag alone if you feel like your tail is chasing you. Because I'm howl along if you want to cuddle from me to you. Because I'm a dog around if you think you're my best friend too. Come stay down, K9. Come stay down, my bark is too high. Come stay down, K9. Come stay down, I shake. Cause I'm happy. Bark along if you feel like your master loves you. Because I'm wag along if you feel like your tail is chasing you. Because I'm howl along if you want to cuddle from me to you. Because I'm a dog around if you think you're my best friend too. Come play now, K9. Come play now, my bark is too high. Come stay down, K9. Come stay down, I shake. Cause I'm bark alone if you feel like your master loves you. Because I'm wag alone if you feel like your tail is chasing you. Because I'm howl along if you want to cuddle from me to you. Hey, hey, hey. Dog around if you think you're my best friend too.
Where it began, I can't begin to knowing, but then I know it's growing strong. Wasn't the spring, and spring became the summer. Who'd have believed you'd come along? Touching hands, reaching out, touching me, touching you. Sweet Caroline, good times never seem so good. I've been inclined to believe there never was, but now I look at the night and it don't seem so lonely. We fill it up with only two. And when I hurt, burden runs off my shoulders. How can I hurt when holding you? Warm, touching warm, reaching out, touching me, touching you. Caroline, good times never seem so good. I've been inclined to believe there never would. Oh, no,
So the referees have taken the ice for the third period of play, and we'll get ready to bring that to you. I'm Timothy Gasson. I'm joined by Jackson Peters, and we have 2 periods done here in Tucson, Arizona, between the Milwaukee School of Engineering and the Wildcats. And it might sound like a broken record, Jackson, but I just tip my hat to these Raiders, ACHA Division III team, made up of all kinds of different players. You know, they had to come up with the money to make this trip, first of all, and they're making the absolute most of it. While I'd like the Arizona Wildcats to come out on top here, I wouldn't be surprised if MSOE wins this game.
No, they came here, you know, just like you said, they had to raise a lot of money to come here, and they're fighting for it. They're showing that they really want to be here and play this game, and they're also showing that they're a competitive team all around.
That's the word. That's the word of the night, and of last night too. They're competitors. They're showing that they love the game of hockey, and they're competing. And I think that's one of the reasons why we're speaking so highly of them, because they play hockey the right way. This is a good hockey team. I wish we would get to play MSOE more, because I really like their style of offensive hockey.
Yeah, and I think it shows the Wildcats, you know, different ways to play and different ways to defend. This team plays so much different than a lot of the ACHA teams that the Wildcats play throughout the year. And frankly, I think they play a full 60-minute game, unlike some of the opponents the Wildcats have seen this year. They went right down to the buzzer last night and gave it their all, and that's what they've been doing for the first 40 of this game.
Absolutely right. As we get ready to drop the puck for the third period. Now at the end of the game, if my poor cold-riddled body can handle it, I'm going to run to center ice and shiver next to the player of the game and our head coach. That's at center ice following tonight's game. And then you can head over to our Facebook page. We'll have the post-game press conference from the coach's room about 10 minutes after the end of our player of the game and coach's interview. But we got 20 minutes of hockey to go before that. And you know, MSOE was talking about how we have to get a quick start here to hang with Arizona. We can't kind of just fade away here as the game goes on. You know, in this first 5 minutes, they've put a premium on tying this one up.
Yeah, and we've talked about their lack of guys on the weekend, and these guys, they're tired. They have to be, and they have to know they're tired. But regardless, this is a big weekend for them. Taking the big trip out here to Tucson, they're going to have to put that aside, and I think that's definitely something they talked about is, hey guys, it's just 20 minutes left. I really think we can win this game regardless of how tired we are. We can be tired tomorrow. We've got 20 minutes to play tonight, and we can muscle through it.
No, that's a great point there, Jackson, because they can be tired on the trip back home. And you know they want to go out and celebrate tonight after winning a game here in Tucson. So close last night as the puck is given up right in the zone. And there's a shot that deflects wide. Sean Osment picks it up and sends it up the far side boards. They were really close last night, and they know it. On the flip side, Arizona, this is great training for Arizona. They have a 1-goal lead. They're playing at home. I think they have respect for this Rowdy Raiders team. Can they do, such a young team, so many freshmen, can they do the right things at the right times in, you know, these pressure situations?
Yeah, and that's what we're going to have to see, and that's a huge key of what they can take away from this game. They can learn how to control that 1-goal lead and pull it all the way to the end of a game. So they really need to learn how to just control the game and keep teams that are fast and quick and can move the puck so well, like the Rowdy Raiders here, under control.
Just underway here in the third period, 18:21 to go. So just a minute 39 into the third period. We'll have a face-off in the Raiders zone. Won by Arizona, comes right out in front. There's a big rebound. Arizona isn't able to get it. Josh Larson sends it wide of the net. The Cats dig for it in the near side. Ooh, is that going to be a penalty for tripping? No, play on. Puck comes into the Arizona zone, and Anthony Shuro just grabs it. No, he doesn't. Gives it off to a teammate who heads back up ice.
And we keep seeing this, Tim. It doesn't matter where this team gets the puck. They take it and go the other way.
Yeah, it's so quick. I mean, of course, that's what every team does, but they make that transition from defense to offense so quickly. They move that puck so quickly.
And that's the transition game is something that a lot of teams struggle with. I think the Cats do a pretty decent job of it, but this MSOE team does a phenomenal job of transitioning.
Tyga Bauer digs for the puck behind the net, goes up the far side boards. Cats keep it in briefly. Can they get it down low? I think it went out of play there. So we'll have a face off, excuse me, I think outside the zone.
So these offensive face-offs are something the Cats, I think, you can use to their advantage to really capitalize on teams like this. It sets them up in the zone, and a lot of times they lose these face-offs. I think this is something that the Wildcats really need to emphasize on their game, is when they get this good zone time to just capitalize on those face-offs.
16:50 to go in the game. Arizona nursing a 2-1 lead. With as quick as this MSOE team is, I'm really surprised that this has been a low-scoring affair, but last night's final was just 4-3 in favor of Arizona. The attempt to move right outside in front of the goaltender. Send it back to the blue line. There's a big shot that goes wide. Comes in past Shuro. Scary moment there for Arizona, but they get the puck out to center ice.
Yeah, we've seen them do this tonight and last night. This MSOE team, if you give them a chance in front of the net, they're going to get a good shot out of it.
Arizona needs to respond and get some zone time and put some pucks on net. I don't know what these games do for the confidence of Arizona, although last night scoring in the last minute to win that game has to give you build that belief system that you can come back and win a game after being down by a couple.
Yeah, absolutely, especially when they were down 2-0 after one.
There's a wraparound attempt. Where'd the puck go? It's still free now. The whistle blows. The goaltender never had it. Mike Cowell never had that puck, and it was still loose, but the referee lost sight of the puck, so the whistle's blown, and we'll have a face-off. That was almost goal number 3 for Arizona, and a good idea to attack the posts and test that goaltender on the wraparound.
Yeah, and I think Mike Cowell did a great job of finding out where that rebound went. He was searching for it, and he ended up throwing it in the corner after the whistle was blown, but he was looking for it.
Nick Zellmer with the puck down at the blue line just sends it down, just goes just wide, past the wide post. Robert Smythe sends it back into the zone, but the Raiders pick it up and move up ice. That's Brian Rupp with the puck, digging for it. Rupp with the puck now at center ice. Wheeling over the Arizona blue line, just sends it in on goal. That's a good idea, but it comes to the near side corner. Now up to Smythe on the far side. And the Cats are able to get it to center ice, where Carson Rowland picks it up there. Puck comes back to Rowland. Throws it in. And Nick Zellmer picks it up for Arizona. And, you know, watching that bench, MSOE has to change quickly and make sure that they're not caught on really quick shifts here, long shifts here in the third period with that short bench.
Yeah, a lot of times the general shifts anywhere from 35 to 45 seconds, but here you got to keep them super short. I'd say no more than 30 seconds is what you're looking for if you're the Raiders here.
Here comes Patrick Dyer again, number 7. Nice tip attempt. Nice save there by Anthony Shuro. 2 tips right in front. You know, 1 tip might happen, but Arizona's got to clean that guy out of there to keep him from being able to get his stick on the ice and keep tipping that puck in. Either one of those could have been goals.
And not only that, they need to get in between that player and Anthony Shuro. They can't let him have that good look on it. Even if they do need to push him out, they need to get in front of him first.
So, as we expected, MSOE, the Milwaukee School of Engineering, hanging around with the Arizona Wildcats down just 2-1 here with 14:30 to go in the third period.
So we talked about it a little bit before the game that we were interested to see how this team was going to fare in the last 10 minutes of this game. We knew this was going to be a difficult energy weekend for them, having only a short bench. As the Wildcats will get a good turnover here.
Yeah, Cats come back on the rush. Josh Larson sends it in. I thought that went in. Boy, I thought he was just going to dribble that in, but a very alert Mike Cowell gobbles that up. Josh Larson has almost looked like he was looking to go to just rebound that off the goaltender, get a rebound off it. It was just going to the kind of floating to the far post there, but I thought that was just going to float in the net.
Yeah, and luckily for Mike Cowell, he was able to find out where that puck was floating and keep his team in the game here for a little bit longer.
You know, it's so hard to find at the collegiate level quality goaltenders, and there's a shot that went to also earmarked for the far corner that just misses. And MSOE has rolled out 2 here on consecutive nights, quality goaltenders for Division III ACHA team.
Yeah, they've played exceptionally well, even though the final score last night was 4-3. I think Chris Nelson played a great game, and I think Mike Cowell's playing an exceptionally well game here tonight as well.
So it's Pucks for Paws night. Lots of dogs in attendance here tonight. Good crowd on hand on Saturday night at the Tucson Arena. And Arizona leads with 13:52 to go in the third period by a score of 2-1.
Yeah, Tim. It's this one goal that's so elusive to the Wildcats all year. It's so hard for them to keep this one goal lead often. So I'd like to see them really try and keep this lead and build on it.
Yeah, you'd like Arizona to stretch this into a 2-goal lead.
Looks like the puck will go out of play there. I'm not sure what it hit there.
Well, we'll have a face-off back in the Wildcat zone. And with 13:35 to go in the game, every one of these face-offs now becomes important. Again, is this good training for Arizona heading up to the ACHA Division I National Tournament?
I think so. And before coming into this game, on paper, looking, before going to Central Oklahoma and, only 2 weekends left in the year, playing a Division III ACHA team was a little worrisome. But after coming out, 5 minutes into this game, this team brought a lot of competition to the Wildcats, and they still are. With 13 minutes left to go in the third, it's still a 1-goal game.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think it's good training if Arizona can do the right things at the right times. At this point, shot comes in on Shuro. He's not sure where it is, and that's a nice move to help out your goaltender. That's Manny Rowe scooping up the puck with a glove and making sure it doesn't dribble in the net. As you said, the goaltender's job is to make the first save. His defenseman needs to get that puck out of there after that. And Jackson there's a shot that goes off of Churro, but I think goes wide of the net. And we got a tussle now, Manny Rowe.
Few tussles going.
Manny Rowe, and I think that's Nick LaRue here in the near side corner, having a polite discussion about the rules of hockey. And I like Nick LaRue. Who, me? What did I do? I love it when guys say, what did I do?
Well, we have to remember, all of these guys are innocent,
They're all innocent. They were all framed. And those guys were just pummeling on each other in the corner. And then I love the universal, shrug of the shoulders like, what did I do? This is probably going to end up just as offsetting minors, I'm going to guess, for roughing. They didn't drop the gloves. There wasn't a fight. And we'll see if MSOE comes away with an extra penalty, because right now they only show a 2-minute for Arizona on Manny Rowe. They might have given him an extra 2 minutes here for starting this. Nope, no, there's another 2-minute up on the board for MSOE. We're just going to skate 4-on-4 for 2 minutes.
Arizona's number 20, Manny Rowe. And 2 minutes for roughing to Milwaukee School of Engineering's number 20, Nick LaRue. Even strength, 4-on-4.
So with 12:17 to go in the game, we'll play 4-on-4. Usually this is an advantage to the University of Arizona, Jackson, but I think tonight this is an advantage to the Rowdy Raiders.
Yeah, 4-on-4 hockey, Tim, it favors the quicker team. And there aren't many teams that the Wildcats have seen this year that can compete with their explosiveness. But this Rowdy Raiders team is definitely one that can give them for a run for their money.
Nick Zellmer picks up the puck for Arizona, now over to Sean Osment. Minute 10 to go on the 4-on-4. Osman over the line. Sends it down low to Justin Plumoff. Plumoff back to Osman. He winds up, takes a big shot. There's a rebound. Juicy sitting there for Max Meyer. But he can't send it home, and a good clear by MSOE. Cruising in over the line. There's a deflection to the wide side of the ice. Anthony Casaletto let it go, and it comes out of the blue line all the way down. This will not be icing. And Mike Cowell comes out to play it, leaves it for a teammate. And Brent Wilcox comes back up ice. There's a Ryan Olson coming up the far side boards with some speed. Can he make the pass? Oh, he peels out. Tries to send it over to Cam Armstrong, but the angle just wasn't there. And he has to retreat. Oh, there's a shot from behind. The referee did not see that. Ryan Olson easily could have been called for a 2-minute minor there, but the referee didn't see it, and play continues on. There's a lucky break for the Wildcats.
Yeah, they're extremely lucky that the ref didn't catch that, and I think that's one of those moments that Coach Rowan's going to be thankful he is the one referee system missing that, because that could easily have been a call on Ryan Olson.
Yeah, in a 2-referee system, that most likely gets seen and gets called. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the play now that we got to keep an eye on. As, you know, MSOE can let it all hang out now. Just 10 minutes to go, 10 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the game. They came all the way to Tucson. They can let it all hang out. As a big rebound right in the slot. And luckily, Arizona players there to pick it up. Ethan Stalyuth winds up down the ice.
And I think this is where we're going to see the physicality in this game really pick up. We saw it for a few minutes there with those coincidental minors, and I think it's only going to continue.
They're calling that offside, and that looked like that was onside to me. The Raiders player really held up there at the blue line. So difficult sometimes to call these. It's so close there that in real time, sometimes it's hard to call that if that was offside or onside. In any case, offside was called, so we'll have a face-off on the far side just outside the Arizona zone. 9:48 to go in the game. Arizona nursing that 2-1 lead. If I were Arizona, I would play a physical game right now. You got to be careful to stay out of the box, but this is how, you know, when you're playing a short bench like this, I think this is how you really wear them down in the last 10 minutes of the third period.
Yeah, and you really need to wear them down. This is where they're going to be able to get really tired, because they're facing the last 10 minutes on a pretty rough weekend for them, having to travel all the way out here from Milwaukee. It's going to be difficult for them to hold up as is, so they're going to have to find a way to really put the body on them to just get them a little extra tired.
Plus, they have to expend all that extra energy to catch up and tie this game. You know, coming from behind, you're always expending more energy than the team that's ahead.
Absolutely. The Wildcats recognize that they can hang back in certain moments, so they don't always have to be on the aggression here, but they still need to find a way to get another goal in and take some of the hope away from the Rowdy Raiders.
Manny Rowe wheeling in over the line, really had nowhere to go with the puck. You know, the hitting after the pass is really picking up. I wouldn't be surprised if this referee starts calling some interference calls, because the puck is way gone when one of these hittings is going on.
Yeah, and I think we haven't seen a lot of those calls so far, but I think if the referee sees it necessary, that once one gets called, they'll keep calling them more.
Getting down to nitty-gritty time, 8:15 to go in the game. Arizona with a 1-goal lead. Now, the Raiders did pull their goalie last night. They didn't have an empty netter scored on them. That was in the last minute of play before Arizona pulled out ahead for good.
And I think regardless of the result last night, there's a nice shot that deflects over Anthony Shuro.
Shuro was unsure where that puck was. He was lucky that it wasn't on the stick of a Raider there, as he was looking around for it. .7:35 to go in the game now as Josh Larson tries to pivot in front. Oh, the puck just pinballed away from a Wildcat there. Physical play continuing. Well, they got the goaltender moving left to right there. That shot went off the post, I think, at the outside of the goal. we certainly had Mike Cowell moving left and right, trying to find that puck in that sequence. As Nick Zellmer sends one that just goes off the pads.
This is
of
exactly
Mike Cowell.
Where MSOE does not want to be. They're getting trapped by this effective movement that the U of A is showing up in their zone with. They're slowing it down, but they're moving it so fast that the MSOE cannot keep up.
And listen to that big Tucson Arena crowd chanting U of A. You love to hear that. That's why you have home ice.
And I think this is one of the more difficult barns to come and play in. And even though MSOE hasn't been here before, you know, that's definitely got to be a factor they think about, is having to play here with so many fans.
Yeah, they break in, though. They got a man right in front. That shot is shot wide. That perhaps is the best opportunity of the period for MSOE. Just couldn't make that decision, make the pass or make the shot. Went for the shot, and it was high and wide. So
Don't forget to visit the official
it's still 2-1 Arizona. 6:19 to go in the game, and I'm hearing dogs barking. I love it. It's Pucks for Paws night. Hundreds of dogs in the building as a fundraiser for the Humane Society of Southern Arizona. And I got to meet some of these great dogs, including a wiener dog, and I love my wiener dogs. Love my wiener dogs.
Yeah, there's some great dogs all around.
Manny Rowe picks up the puck now, less than 6 minutes to go. This is where Manny Rowe's at his best at center ice, and he just chips it down low and goes and hunts for it. Some dogs bark their approval. Olnick picks it up, and Cats give away the puck right at that problem zone, around 5 feet from the blue line. Robert Smythe with the puck. Back to Olnick, who's able now to get to center ice. Keelan Olnick getting back into playing shape and just made a nice little dipsy move there, but he lost the puck. Joining this roster in the second semester and still working himself back into game shape. He's going to be a heck of a player for the University of Arizona. A big guy, 6'3". The puck is to the side of the net, and Nick Zellmer picks it up and gets it out of worry. Less than 5 minutes to go now in the game. And you know, the Raiders are always activated on offense. Well, now they've got to send all caution to the wind as Josh Larson comes up with the puck. Oh, there's a beautiful feed in front, equaled by Mike Cowell. Another feed that just goes wide of the far post. Arizona trying to put this one away now with 4:30 to go in the game. Josh Larson with the puck. He really didn't have a shooting angle there. Good defense there by MSOE. As the shot goes high and wide. Now MSOE looks tired, Jackson.
Yeah, especially when they're getting trapped in the zone like this. This is what I was talking about. They need to stay away from these long shifts. You can see even a few guys trying to change when they're in the defensive zone, which is a huge, huge no-no they teach you from Pee Wee hockey.
Yeah,
so
but they have to do it.
They have to, you know, get the puck out, and if they can't, they're going to have to make the change because these guys are gassed.
They are gassed. Under 4 minutes to go in the game. I'll run down to center ice with less than a minute to go in the game. As we have an ice.
Hey fans, your number 14 ranked
So we'll come back in to the offensive zone against Mike Cowell, who's played a good game in net. Boy, he's only given up 2 goals. Let's see if that's going to be enough for Arizona to come away with this victory. Just 3:44 to go in the game. Cats lead by 1 by a score of 2-1.
And it looks like 6 guys out there trying to spend some more energy.
That would be helpful to have 6 guys, or 6 skaters plus a goalie. Arizona keeps it in the zone off the face-off win, though. Oh, there was a dangerous puck that went off Cowell, and Arizona keeps it in the zone. MSOE really looks tired now.
Yeah, this is where they're really going to have to dig deep if they want to come back and attempt to win this game. It's kind of a do-or-die moment. You really have to spend all the energy you have, no matter, you know, how you're going to feel tomorrow.
Rudy Tearing sends it in. Yeah, you know, instead of those crisp passes going back and forth across the ice in bursts of speed. Now they've just got to kind of throw it in and kind of hunt for it. As they go for another change here, they have to change so quickly. Such a short bench. Only 15 skaters for MSOE. They've played so well.
And, you know, up until just about 2 or 3 minutes ago, it was hard to even tell that they had such a short bench.
Yeah.
They've played the whole weekend like they've had a full roster.
Amazing. .240 to go in the game. That's those kinds of dangerous pucks. Just send it to the front of the net and hope that it pinballs and ends up in the right place. But Arizona's able to intercept there and
and that's the right idea here. They're not going to get those pretty sniping goals like they did with their first goal here tonight. It's going to be those rebound goals that they're really going to have to dig deep for.
Wow, there's a blocker used by Shuro to get that puck down, but not out of the zone. 2:05 to go in the game. Arizona with a 1-goal lead, and Robert Smythe comes away with the puck. Sends it up to Ty Griffith. Now the Cats need to lay back here with 1:50 to go in the game. Make sure you always have 2 guys back.
Yeah, you always want to think about getting more goals, but you have to play defensively first here. In the last minute 30 of a game, you really have to consider what's more important, you know, allowing them to maybe get a good chance and on a good 2-man rusher.
Here's the puck deflects into the crowd. 1:32 to go in the game. Arizona leads 2-1 over the pesky Milwaukee School of Engineering Rowdy Raiders.
This is a determined team. They came in here this weekend to really put up a fight, and it looks like they're going to take a timeout here, I believe. But they've shown all weekend that they're in these games to try and win. They've been competing no matter how many guys are there, no matter how tired they are. They're really fighting to win these 2 games this weekend. They fell last night in the last minute, and they're trying to change that here tonight.
Well, and this is a good timeout by MSOE. 1:32 to go in the game. They're gassed, it appears. They're down by a goal. This is a good time for them to take this timeout.
Yeah, and you can tell this team plays with a lot of heart, and they're going to go into this last minute 30 of this game, you know, using that heart. They're going to try and find a way to play this last minute 30 as close as they could to the first minute 30 of this game, no matter how hard it is.
Some Andre 3000 entertaining the crowd here tonight late in this game. Hey now. Hey now.
Sounds like you still got it, Tim.
Okay, back to the hockey game. 1:32 to go in the game. Arizona nursing a 2-1 lead. I like that song by Andre 3000.
That's one of my, that might be my favorite song of all time, Tim, so I'm glad you turned it up a little
bit.
Well,
it was. It was before it got ruined, I'm going to guess, right?
Yeah, it wasn't until a minute ago.
Yeah, it wasn't until a minute ago, because you don't remember it sounding quite like that. 1:23 to go in the game. MSOE has an empty net. They've pulled their goaltender for the 6th attacker. Sean Osmond sends it down to the far side of Ryan Olsen. Can he get this puck out? He does. But there isn't a Wildcat anywhere near it, so no empty netter. And MSOE picks it up. Down to 1 minute to go in the game. MSOE needs a goal. 1 minute to go. There's a puck that's going to go down. Is that going to go in the net? It's going to go in the net! Short-handed goal! Empty net goal! MSOE had an extra skater, so not short-handed, but they had an extra skater on in an empty net. And Arizona puts this one away with a big empty net goal to make it 3-1.
And that's one of those empty net goals. A lot of times you see that get sent down the ice and it's an icing. That was an expert shot to be able to send it in from that far away.
Well, especially on the backhand.
Goal by number 19.
Justin Plumhoff with the goal.
Justin Plumhoff. At 19:05 of the third period.
Justin Plumhoff with the goal.
And do keep in mind, MSOE does have their goaltender pulled once again.
So I'm going to run down to center ice for the...
And that was an early whistle there. I'm not sure if you caught that, Tim. That one was trickling in.
Yeah, it was. That was too close for comfort. Well, I lost sight of the puck there, but that's gone both ways with that kind of quick whistle. Well, bring us home, Jackson. I'm going to run down to center ice for our post-game interviews. And then you'll wrap this one up for us. So take it away, Jackson Peters.
So as we wait for Tim to head down to center ice with Coach Berman and the player of the game, there's still 20 seconds left to play in this game as the Milwaukee School of Engineering, look for a way to bury just one more goal. With just under 10 seconds, you can tell these players are extremely tired fighting through this weekend. And that'll do it. The University of Arizona Wildcats will defeat the Milwaukee School of Engineering Rowdy Raiders by a score of 3-1, sweeping them on the weekend. A difficult loss for the Milwaukee School of Engineering Raiders because they came out here with a lot of skill and talent, but that short bench did hurt them in the last few minutes of this game. Had they had more players, potentially could have scored another goal and tied this one up.
10 in the third period for Arizona for a total of 22. Final score, 3-1 Arizona over Milwaukee School of Engineering.
So the final shots on goal, 26 for the Milwaukee School of Engineering, 22 for the University of Arizona Wildcats. Again, I think the Cats did a great job of fighting through this one and finding ways to stop the Milwaukee School of Engineering from getting through these gaps and getting such good opportunities, especially last night when they had so much skill and speed going with those cross-ice lateral passes. So we'll watch as the Wildcats give their salute that they do after every game, and we'll send it down to center ice with Tim Gasson with tonight's player of the game and Coach Chad Berman.
We're live on the University of Arizona Wildcats Facebook page. I'm with the player of the game. This is Justin Plumhoff. Justin, you had the empty netter there. What's it like when the goalie's pulled? You see that tantalizing empty net there. You don't want to take an icing, but you want to get that goal.
Yeah, I mean, normally you want to just go for it, but obviously you don't want to risk the icing. But I guess I just got lucky and popped it in.
Talk about this MSOE team that played really hard for 2 games. Really good competition for you. Do you think this helps you get ready for this big road series at Oklahoma and Central Oklahoma?
Yeah, I think they're a really good skilled team. Obviously, they don't have a ton of guys, so we just kind of outworked them and tired them out. But it prepares us for good league games next weekend and hopefully the tournament.
So Justin, what do you want to work on this week to get yourself prepared for Oklahoma and Central Oklahoma?
Just work on the little details, make sure we have our system set up, we're forechecking hard, breaking out quickly, and just hopefully going this weekend and come out with some wins.
Your player of the game, Justin Plumhoff. Thank you, congratulations. Let's bring in the head coach of the Arizona Wildcats. This is Chad Berman. Coach, I've been saying it for 2 nights on our broadcast. This is a pesky MSOE team that just wouldn't go away, gave a great effort here this weekend.
Yeah, that's a good hockey team. I mean, they've got a lot of great experience. Those are all NCAA players that we were battling. And, boy, I thought that was a great hockey game to come out and watch for sure.
So I'll ask you the same question. Does this help you as you get ready to play this big weekend in Oklahoma and try to get ready for the national tournament? Playing in these close games, having to protect a lead or come back and try to win the game in the last second. Is this good, like, training ground for the Wildcats?
Absolutely. I think it's great preparation. You know, we've been trying not to look too far ahead, but the Oklahoma weekend is as we knew, is going to be a big determination on where we're going to ultimately rank going into the national tournament. You know, Oklahoma Thursday is going to be a tough one after a big day of travel, but then we go in and we got 2 games, in my opinion, at Central Oklahoma, maybe the toughest place to go in and win. They've won 2 of the last 3 national championships, so it's good to see that we were firing all cylinders tonight, blocking shots, doing details. Thought we had good energy, so it's good that we're going to feel good before we get on the plane here.
And Coach, just 2 more home games here for the Arizona Wildcats against the Arizona State University. I know you want the Wildcat Nation to come out. It's about a month from now, but we need to start thinking about packing the TCC for Arizona State.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we couldn't thank you guys enough for coming out. It was a great crowd tonight, but come out. You know, ASU's in town. We know we don't like them much, so let's come loud, let's come proud, and we're going to keep fighting and make a run at this thing for you guys. So appreciate your support tonight.
Your winning coach, Chad Berman. Congratulations, Coach. Now, in about 10 minutes, head over to our Facebook page. We'll have the post-game press conference. We're going to finish up our YouTube feed right now, and this is it for now on the Arizona Wildcats Facebook page.
So, Wildcat hockey fans, that'll do it for another game here at the TCC. That's the University of Arizona Wildcats defeating the Milwaukee School of Engineering Rowdy Raiders by a score of 3-1. Wildcat goals coming from Smythe, Griffith, and Plumhoff. Plumhoff being an unassisted empty net goal in the end, and Rowdy Raiders goal coming from Rupp, from Christensen and Dwyer. Wildcat hockey fans, we thank you for joining us, and we look forward to you joining us on the YouTube broadcast or in person as the Arizona State University Sun Devils come to town on February 16th and 18th. The final 2 games in the final series of the Wildcats year. On behalf of Tim Gasson, I'm Jackson Peters, and we thank you for joining us tonight.